I think the changes in the media landscape, on the one hand there will be a revolution, and the revolution is in the fact that we are part of an international media landscape, and that it's growing very fast with a lot of new content providers with direct access to devices in the households. That's a kind of a revolution. The way people watch television, consume media is more like an evolution. In this global market we have new competitors, but there is also a new competition to attract the attention of the viewers, and other parties are offering content people used to see with a public service media, public broadcaster. So that requires a new position for a public broadcaster in this international landscape. Public broadcaster will be indispensable for Holland, for the Dutch context, because this global market will not provide programs that are made in Dutch or with respect for our culture or identity. So, role of being the provider of of being the platform for your own culture and identity in a small country like Holland will become more important than it was. The other trend is the way people watch television with new devices. It's a discussion about what's the function of the first screen, the big screen in the household, and what's the role of a public broadcaster on the big screen, and what is our role on other devices. The third trend would be the growing competition between right owners, parties who make programs, and distributors who control the access to the household. I do not think the basic function of public broadcaster will change dramatically, because the function to connect people is relevant, maybe even more relevant in the next decade, because the commercial broadcasters or commercial parties will segment their public. Secondly, a basic role of a public broadcaster to educate, inform people will also be of importance in the next decade, but maybe there will be an evolution from making content to guiding people to content in this international global media markets. I think the first thing we have to do is to gain a distinctive position in this media landscape that's also logic for the Dutch people. Why we have a public broadcaster. The second thing is your position in the media landscape. Who are your friends? Who are your enemies? Or are they all frenemies? Third will be the enrichment of the television experience with new media, with social media, with new devices. The monopoly we used to have as a form of a right to do it has to transform to something people ask from us. So you have to prove your function. It's not given at forehand. I think there is a bright future for public media and for public broadcasters because they provide in basic needs for a society. A democracy demands forms of connection between people and groups in society. I think a new role of a public broadcaster in the future could be to be a reliable guide for your public. There's a lot of content, interesting content, and people want to be led to this content, and they need a reliable guide, because the data you generate when you are looking for content are also a very important source of earning money or advertising. So to know that a public broadcaster is servicing you from a non-commercial perspective will be a very important, can be a very important role for a public broadcaster. The challenge in making a strategy for the future is for a public broadcaster is to navigate between the prophets, mostly outside your own company, who are telling you that the world is changing very rapidly and disruptive, and the more pessimistic people, mostly in-house people who analyze the facts of today, and the truth will be somewhere between these two.